A school district of the future prepares lifelong learners to demonstrate mastery of 21st century competencies that will equip them for continuous success.
DeKalb County School District is a leader in K-12 and early childhood education and has developed a comprehensive master plan to ensure school improvements are made throughout the DCSD community.
Students can reach their fullest potential and excel when schools are well maintained and capital resources are up to date.
Whether it's state-of-the-art learning spaces, our 7 robotic programs, renovated and innovative schools, or technology devices for every child,
these resources and investments not only benefit the DCSD community, but also the taxpayers of DeKalb County.
A top priority for DCSD is supporting social and emotional skills of young learners and their families, and our Early Learning Center addresses the readiness gap.
Every 5 years, we assess DCSD schools and facilities, technology equipment, and examine construction to address overcrowding and to accommodate growth so that DCSD scholars can thrive. To achieve and excel, we provide technology at your fingertips with anytime, anywhere access, infrastructure enhancements, business system integration, and instructional tools to support top-of-the-line connectivity and cybersecurity, and a family impact hub that meets diverse families where they are.
So, how do we pay for these general improvements to impact student achievement and positively affect the DCSD community?
SPLOST is a 1-penny sales tax that allows school districts to fund their capital improvements. The voters of DeKalb County will be asked to extend the 1-penny sales tax for another 5 years. This education special purpose local option sales tax is critical to building our children's future and equipping our community for success.
All right, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I am calling the April 26, 2023 SPLOST Citizens Advisory Committee meeting to order at 6:06 p.m. Next, we'll have review and approval of this evening's agenda. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to review the agenda. Are there any corrections or modifications that need to be made to the agenda? All right, hearing none, if there are no objections, I'd like to adopt tonight's agenda by a unanimous consent. All right, hearing no objections, this evening's agenda has been adopted. Next, we'll review the minutes from the March 22nd meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? All right, hearing none, if there are no objections, I'd like to approve the March 22nd, 2023 minutes by unanimous consent. All right, hearing no objections, minutes have been approved. Next, let's go to item 4, discuss follow-up matters from the prior meeting.
So the first item is the report on the SPLOST items presented at the April 2023 board meeting. And there were not any SPLOST items presented at the April meeting. If there are not any questions on that, I can go ahead and do 5, Daniel, as well, which is the contract award list update. If anything had been presented, any SPLOST items, they would have been a contract, or possibly a contract, could have been a change order or something. And that contract would have been listed on the contract award list update. However, there were no items, so there's nothing on the There was no update on the contract award list either. So that's items 4A and 5. Any questions?
All right, any questions, anyone? All right, hearing none. All right, anything else you'd like to mention, Richard?
Not on those 2 items. I do have something on 6 when we get to that.
Okay. All right.
Next.
Well, let's go ahead and go to item number 6, a review of community feedback collected from the SPLOST committee email address. I haven't received any correspondence since March 22nd, but Richard, go ahead. I know you had something.
Yeah, so Nancy Kelly had sent an email, and I'm not sure because I thought we had been receiving comments, and Ms. Kelly had sent me an email directly that said that she had gotten a bounce back email saying that the group email wasn't set up to receive, basically wasn't set up to receive outside messages. So one of the how to fix it on that was to allow people outside the organization to send email to the group. So I actually went in this afternoon to see if I could find that little fix, and I did find it. And I do know that Miss Kelly is, she was a little while ago, one of the attendees. So Miss Kelly, if you'd like to try that and let me know if it works now, we can make sure that we're getting all the emails that we should be getting.
Okay, thank you, Richard. And also invite members of the public to send an email to the address as well. We welcome all feedback. They'd like to hear from the public and our fellow stakeholders. All right. Thank you, Richard. Next, let's go into the MSR review.
Good evening, Daniel. Good evening, everybody. I've been asked to, well, let me share my screen first, please. I've been asked to provide an executive summary recap, if you will. So I'll do that first. We've got a short PowerPoint that makes it easy for, hopefully easy for everyone to digest the information. In terms of procurement for SPLOST 5, no real business in the month of March, no projects advertised for designer builder services, no contracts awarded for designer builder services. For SPLOST 6, we're happy to report that 2 projects were advertised for builder services. Construction manager at risk, or CMAR services, for the new Sequoia High School and Middle School, and the CMAR services for the new Dresden Elementary School. In terms of our budget and cost status, in the MSR, all the construction project budgets for SPLOST 4 and SPLOST 5 are in good standing. That's depicted on tables 9, 8, 9, 10A through 10H in the MSR. In terms of status of our major construction projects, Cedar Grove Auditorium project is essentially complete. Minor punch list work is ongoing, and the project team is putting together the closeout documentation. At Hambrick Elementary, you may recall the security vestibule was installed over winter break, and Division of Instructional and Information Technology is finishing up the access controls. At Freedom, same instructional DIIT is finishing up the access controls on the completed security vestibule. At Kittredge Magnet, the schedule suggests that, well, we've been told by the builders, and it's confirmed that the HVAC equipment, which is basically AHUs, air handling units, 34-week lead time. So we'll be able to better schedule that once we know exactly when that equipment will show up. At the Druid Hills High School baseball, at Druid Hills Middle School, the dugouts and the press box work was pretty well finished up. The bleacher concrete pads were installed and the final infill grading was finishing up in March. At Redan, good news, the restroom trailer was delivered, field work and the irrigation system installation is complete, and we're working on the press box replacement. At E.L. Miller, the submittal process is ongoing as we prepare for construction in a number of months. For Security Vestibule Group A, which includes Bob Mathis, Cedar Grove, Columbia and Wadsworth Magnet Elementaries, and Rainbow, I'm sorry, work is essentially complete at all locations. And Stevenson still remains. We had a little issue with the delivery of the ballistic resistant storefront, but that is expected to finish up in April. And IT is installing controls at all the completed vestibules. On Group B, which includes Briar Lake, Chestnut, Oak Grove, and Vanderlyn Elementaries, along with DeKalb Early College Academy, Elizabeth Andrews High School, and Henderson Middle School. Work is complete at Oak Grove and Vanderlyn Elementaries. Work is ongoing at Briar Lake and Chestnut Elementary. We hope to finish those up in April. And work at DECA, EAHS, and Henderson Middle, depending on the delivery of the retrofit frames. We were told then April delivery was likely. Spoiler alert, we're still waiting for 2 out of 3 of those. In terms of new delays reported in the March MSR, project number 34135, it's the accessibility improvements and plumbing fixtures, basically, at 4 schools. That solicitation is on hold. It was issued twice. We had basically no bidders. The district recognizes that it might be wise to complete the district-wide ADA survey and then recalibrate how we would attack the accessibility improvements across multiple facilities. No claims by architects, engineers, or builders this period. And there's one change order approved. It's for turf and track installation at Druid Hills High School. Because the Druid Hills High School scope is now included as an SPLOST 6 project, that business is removed from the 30135, the SPLOST 5 project, and a credit of $856,000 is coming back to the district. Quick recap on project status by count. Basically, similar from last period, the big issue here is we've got over 15 projects combined in the design and construction procurement pipeline, and we expect to have most of those pushed through before the end of the 3rd quarter. It might be good to share a couple of pictures. Here's the security vestibule at Stevenson Middle. That's in Group A, we mentioned previously. And they also asked for a transaction desk. Briar Lake Elementary in Group B. We'll progress there nicely. There's a transaction window. Basically, almost every facility with the security vestibule has a transaction window component, and often we're replacing an existing non-secure window with bullet-resistant storefront frame and glazing. Here's Oak Grove Elementary. Group B, Vanderlyn Elementary. Pretty good. And the Druid Hills High School baseball field at Druid Hills Middle. Well, thank you. Any questions on the executive summary? If not, I'll switch over to the MSR if my system will accommodate. Thank you. And let's, of particular interest, I would say, our funding, of course. District reimbursements in March totaled $453,000. $526.60. That was made up of, as you may have seen in the MSR report, approximately $408,000 for Southwest DeKalb High School, approximately $40,000 for Pine Ridge Elementary, and $4,772.40 for McClendon. That brings our total district reimbursement between SPLOST 4 and SPLOST 5 up to $85,774,837.22. So that's been a nice bit of recovery for the district with the GADOE and just district funding reimbursements. Also of interest probably is our SPLOST funding. Obviously, no change in tax receipts for SPLOST 4 or 5. We noted that total tax receipts in SPLOST 5 exceeded projections handsomely, and so far, SPLOST 6 funding is also progressing nicely. That $101.4 million is approximately $11.5 million more than last period, and that compared to the $96.2 million puts us about $5.2 million above plan. So that's pretty good news. Expenditures, no change for SPLOST 4, basically, and the increase in SPLOST 5 was a very modest $1.1 million for the period. No SPLOST 6 expenditures to report yet, but they are coming. Obviously, the curve reflects the SPLOST 4 and 5 expenditures shown on tables 2 and 3, on table 4, I'm sorry. And table 5 provides that breakdown of the project budgets by phase. Table 7 provides the breakdown of the budget, the commitments and expenditures to date by region. And the $285.9 approximate million represents about 45% of the current budget of $630.3 million. In terms of cost performance, I mentioned the construction project budgets are in good shape. The 40235 project, the technology labeled ERP finance system enhancements, is still on the radar. We're told that finance and technology will take care of that at some point. I don't have an update, unfortunately. I think those are the highlights from the March MSR. Daniel, I'd be happy to take any particular questions.
Thank you, Mel. Does anyone have any questions? One question I had was going back to the executive summary with the lack of bids. Is there anything being done to address that?
Yes, we actually met with procurement on Tuesday and talked at some length about strategies that would encourage more potential bidders. One of those strategies, Daniel, would be bundling smaller projects so that we've got a larger project that could attract a medium or larger size contractor. For example, if a small elementary HVAC replacement is $3 million, we could bundle 3 or 4 of those to get to maybe 10 million or so. We think that'll provide maybe more incentive for mid-sized contractors to get involved. That's one opportunity. We do believe we need to kind of recalibrate our portfolio, let the building community know what all's in the pipeline and what will be coming down the pipeline. So to that, procurement has asked if we would be willing to host we call them a contractors forum, and we agreed we would. We'll prepare an agenda that helps the contractors understand what business we've got in the pipeline, what the dates or expected dates for solicitations would be. We do that for SPLOST 5 remaining projects, the carryover projects, and we do that as best we can based on what we know now for SPLOST 6 projects. We think that kind of more personal outreach will helpfully develop and engender a little more confidence with the building community. And each of us who have contacts in the building community as a third option or third strategy, will be personally reaching out to builders we know. If they haven't been necessarily involved in the DeKalb County School District business, we want to encourage them to do so. A quick thought might sound like there might be a pool of 10 contractors or construction companies that do business for Atlanta Public Schools, but only five of those do business lately with DeKalb County Public Schools. We definitely want to reach out to those other 5 and make sure that they have the best information available to actually want to be involved in business with DeKalb County School District. So to answer your question, I'm sorry, in a long-winded way, yes, we are actively taking steps to improve our bid pools.
Okay, thank you, Mel. Does anyone else have any other questions?
Just a follow-up question on that, Mel. Thank you for the presentation. Where are you all where are the RFPs or RFQs presented for builders? How will they notify those? Because I do have some people in the construction industry I would like to refer over. Can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
My specialty, thank you. All of the district's procurements can be found on the district website using the vendor services portal. When you go to the main page on the website, it's at the very bottom, in the bottom right-hand side, vendor services. And when you click on that link, you'll see current bids and closed solicitations, so they can get a history of what's all been through the pipeline. Now, the other piece, the district is a part of the Georgia Cooperative that maintains the register of all contractors in Georgia. So our solicitations get noticed through that website and email system. So as long as any of those contractors are registered, they'll see our solicitations.
Thank you. I'll make sure they're aware of that. Thanks a lot. Daniel, I see the website. I got it. Thank you.
All right. And Tommy, they're also advertised in the Champion newspaper.
Okay.
As well.
Perfect.
Thank you, Richard. Good point.
Sure.
Thank you. Champion. Yeah.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Mel. Anybody else have any other questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you, Mel. Let's go to item number 8, facilities maintenance report. Okay, if anyone's speaking, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yes, I was. I was sitting there speaking and realized I was on mute before you had actually mentioned that. But so hopefully you can see my, can you see my screen? That should be a spreadsheet.
Yes.
U week of 4/17. So Bobby Moncrief, the Director of Facilities Maintenance, had put this together. I believe it was on Monday for the week of 4/17 of April 17th. And what this is showing is just the new work orders and the closed work orders for each of the regions. And we'll just walk through these. So region 1, there were 25 that were new, that were issued as new work orders in that week of April 17th, and 137 were closed. Region 2, there were 4 new work orders and 280 existing work orders that were closed. Region 3, 10 new and 17 closed. Region 4, there are 15 new and 60 that were closed. Region 5, 20 new and 54 work orders that were closed. Region 6 only had 2 new work orders and 14 closed. And then region 7, 4 new work orders with 122 closed. There were also 2 work orders that were, or new work orders that were roof related, and 21 roof related work orders that were closed, and 29 HVAC work orders that were new, and 55 were closed. And all of that occurred during the week of April 17th. So you can see during that week, we closed approximately 760 work orders. We received 111 new ones that are in the pipeline now to be checked. I did want to point out that we're having an issue with the work order data or the data dashboard that is on our website, and it's something that we're checking into. It's not reporting the full number of work orders. As you know, in the past we've gone through that, but for some reason when I last checked it, and I've sent this request to IT, it was showing a lower number of work orders. So that's something we're working on to see what the issue there was, whether they set a new data date or what the issue was. But if you recall, at least to the committee, I'd sent an email saying that we started reporting in Munis was March 4th, 2022, and we should have a fairly larger number than what is shown in that data dashboard now for total work orders, new work orders, completed work orders, etc. So that's just something that I wanted to point out in case anybody saw it, just to let you know that we're working on that now. And that's all I had for work orders at this point. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I got, it's not really a question. I just wanted to thank you for showing this view. This is a really awesome view. I think a good recommendation is to put this type of view on the dashboard, at the public dashboard. This really gives a good sense of what's going on, and it's such a good news story week over week. So thanks for presenting this.
Oh, you're welcome. And that's a good idea. It helps distill the information a little bit more than the I guess having to click through the different columns or different regions. You know, it's kind of here as a cliff notes of what's occurred. So we'll definitely take that and see what we can do with it as far as getting that information on the website.
Thank you, sir. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. That is a great suggestion. I'll look forward to seeing that on the data dashboard webpage. Anyone else have any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none, we'll move to new business. Are there any other any upcoming community meetings or events we need to be aware of?
No, we actually did not have any on the books right now. I'm not sure. Let's see, there will be, I'm sure in the future, and as we get into some of these design projects, we'll definitely be scheduling some community meetings with the communities of the Sequoia and Dresden, but we don't have any of those on the books at this point.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Next, we have 9B, discuss operations staffing levels.
So I had, Mr. Hofstadter is currently on, but muted. So Eric is going to talk about Mr. Hofstadter is going to talk about our staffing and some of the needs that we have, and I will let him take over.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. Thank you. So I guess here's a brief synopsis where we're at. We're all having staffing challenges, and that's ongoing. I think everybody feels that in every industry. However, the people we have are working very, very hard. We're also in the middle of our budget season, and we're doing allocations and allotments for new positions and additions. And right now, we've asked for a few more positions for going into next fiscal year so that we can expand a little bit, given the amount of work that we're starting to face. And of course, the length of projects going on is just more to track over a longer period of time. So the capacity to do that and do it effectively and efficiently is becoming more challenging. But in any case, we're going to continue to press forward on that. We should know more about the budget within a couple of months because that is now going through the board, and we'll see what we have. But in any case, we're going to continue to press hard on that. Is there anything specific and I'll try to answer if there's any more questions about that.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any other questions or comments?
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you.
All right, thank you for the update. Next, we'll go to unfinished business. Hopefully everyone has submitted their photo and biography for the website. Actually, in relation to that, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask Monica, if you would, Monica, look at the, kind of go through the list and check the photos and biographies that you have on hand. I think there are one or two that were still missing at the last meeting. And if there are one or two missing, let's send an email directly to those and copy Daniel and Kathy so they know as well, so we can go ahead and get that information in hand, and then we can get that up on the website as well.
Sure. I'll work on that tomorrow, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Richard. Actually, on that note, I would like to welcome our newest committee member, Ms. Lynn. So welcome to the committee. I'll open up the floor if you have any words for us.
Thank you. I'm just honored to have the opportunity to be here with everyone today.
All right. Thank you. Welcome again. We look forward to your contributions to the committee. All right. Next, we'll collect any recommendations from the meeting and follow-up matters for our next meeting. Do we have any action items or anything we need to follow up for the next meeting? All right, I'll take that as no.
I did not hear any.
Okay.
Not necessarily a follow-up matter, but I see, Daniel, looks like you put in the chat, the vendor services website. And then Richard Stevens had put in the, and just so everybody knows, there is a April district-wide job fair that is going on at Miller Grove High School on April 29th, 9 a.m. to noon. And both of those items are in the chat. So yeah,
thank you, Richard. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Richard. And yes, please share the announcement of the job fair within your networks and circles. Well, that's a great segue into announcements. Do we have any other announcements? Or go ahead. Great.
I was going to say, sorry, yeah, I think I jumped ahead a little bit there on the announcements, but you saw it posted there.
Sounds good. Thank you, Richard. Are there any other announcements? All right, hearing none, but in the spirit of our chair, I would like to remind our committee members that I know this is a volunteer position, but please make sure to attend as many meetings as possible. If you cannot make a meeting, please let Kathy and me know as soon as possible. All right. All right, I'll open up the floor for any last comments, questions, or concerns. All right. Hearing none, our next meeting date will be May 24th. If there are no objections, I'll call this meeting adjourned at 6:39 p.m. Thank you all for attending. Have a good rest of your evening. Take care, everyone.
Right.